Hello, everyone. My name is Sarafi, and I'm happy to meet you all. Today, I'll be sitting down for the final episode of the Meet the Guru series. I am joined by one of my colleagues, uh, the Chaos Thunder Theorist, also known as Chaos Thundra and the Thunder Dragon Guru, uh, the man. Man, I'm really happy to have you with me.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I got a few questions for you here, sir. So, how did you hear about the Guild of Gurus?
I saw Cube's advertising it actually. So yeah, it was just a bit random. You know how these guys were promoting the servers in the early days. And yeah, I mean the way I came across the whole thing was via the Duel Links Reddit. And back then I used to just recognize that name Cubic Guru, and he used to always just talk like cubic stuff. And he seemed pretty down to earth. He seemed like real because you know how the Yu-Gi-Oh community can have all different kinds of characters, and this guy seemed kind of straight. And yeah, I see he was promoting that, and it was a bit of a funny story actually because I wasn't really a big Discord head. I wasn't really part of Yu-Gi-Oh communities or anything like that. But you know, I just got funny part of the story is that I just got banned from a different community, so I was kind of just out on my ones, just kind of seeing what's out there. And then I saw this dude who seemed pretty straight. So I just joined up, and it was part of the early days, probably really early on. The server was probably only a few months old, probably less than like 100 members or something at the time. But they seemed cool, you know, and they ran tournaments and I had fun playing with them. And yeah, you know, it was just a cool place to be, cool place to jam and get
Oh
some
man,
Yu-Gi-Oh games.
finally! I do 11 of these interviews. Finally, I get some scandal. You got banned from somewhere?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was pretty stupid, really. But yeah, the Reddit Discord thing. Because like I said, I was new to it all. You know, I didn't really care about communities and that. I was playing the Duel Links game for years before I even went to its Reddit. Do you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't really interested in like
Playing by
talking
the
to people
rules?
about
Yeah.
the game. I wasn't really interested about any of that kind of stuff. It's only really when I started playing in tournaments that I started seeking out other people to play, specifically for tournament play.
Cool.
Um, and so I was actually banned from the Reddit Discord, and yeah, so I was kind of looking for places to hang, places to meet people and just play the game.
That.
And yeah, that's how it came across, man. So yeah, it's nothing juicy, nothing crazy, but yeah, it just went down.
That's rough. All right. So, what do you think is your role as a guru?
As a guru, well, specifically for Thunder Dragons, it's mainly just to introduce people to the archetype, show them how it's played, give them ideas as to deck lists, how to build it in different formats. And then what the combos are, you know, what you do when you draw certain cards and things like that. But on top of the kind of educating, getting people to have fun with the game, and you know, kind of enjoy the game more so than kind of like get angry by the game or hate the game. You know how people can get with different metas. As well as all of that, it's also about supporting the community, supporting the guys that run the server by just doing whatever little things I can do in the background. So, as well as doing all the guru stuff to help people, or to point people in the direction, because you know sometimes people aren't looking for Thunder Dragons, they might be looking for Speedroids or they might be looking for heroes or something like that. And you just point them in the right direction. You know, it's always nice to have friendly faces around and to know people that are there to help and that aren't going to be giving you too much lip if you say the wrong thing. You don't have to be afraid to say the wrong thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
All right.
As well as
Well,
all of that stuff, it's just doing little things in the background. So in the Discord server, I help with the tournament organizing, helped with the custom ban list making, and then a couple of other things around behind the scenes. You know how it is.
thank you. All right. So, what do you like about Thunder Dragons?
What do I like about them? Um, I should probably get into like why I even picked Thunder Dragons, right? So Thunder Dragons itself, they don't really have a massive amount of cards. They don't get tons of support, and you're not going to see a lot of things come out with Thunder Dragon's name on them. The original Thunder Dragon came out in like 2005, like years and years and years ago, and they didn't get any other like proper Thunder Dragon support until like 2018, so like 13 years later. So I originally got into Yu-Gi-Oh by watching the anime, the DM anime when it originally came out, late 90s, early 2000s. I used to watch that as a kid, man, and it was a lot of fun. And I didn't get into the card game back then because that was money. But one of the games that I could get into was Forbidden Memories on the PS1.
Hell yeah!
I don't know if you played. You must have played that game with that reaction. I don't know if you remember, right?
Thunder Dragon,
OG
the twin Thunder Dragon. Yeah,
and Twin Thunder Dragon.
That
Those were my cards, and that is what I used to play.
That card was so broken and forbidden.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got into Thunder Dragon, right? Because I remembered that card. And when I got into Duel Links, like, I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh from Forbidden Memories. Like, life happened and I was into all sorts of different things until Duel Links came out in like 2016, 2017. And that's when I got back into it. And when I saw that OG was in the card trader and Twin Headed was in the card trader, I was happy. I was like, yeah, I remember these cards. I know what this is about. But obviously, that's not an archetype. That's not a deck. And I don't think those cards ever made a deck in Duel Links at all, to be fair. But when the latest support got dropped in that game, I kind of got introduced to what the archetype was about. And it was stayed true to what it was originally, which was effects in the hand, and then they built on that with the banishing and being able to do a lot more, bringing it into the modern game. And it's stuff you'll see a lot of more modern archetypes do. But what I liked about Thunder Dragons is that they're probably one of the original ones to do it, and that is that they interact with all the different elements of the game. So you play them from hand, so they've got hand effects. You can play them from graveyard because they got graveyard effects, and then when they banish, they got banish effects, and you can recycle them from the banish area. So no matter what your opponent does to you, whether they make you discard cards from your hand, whether they banish cards from your graveyard, you've always got ways to interact with your cards. And that's one thing I like about Thunder Dragons, is that no matter what your opponent does, you always have the possibility and the potential options to do things. You're not really quite locked out of the game until they, snowball and put up unbeatable boards and things like that, like what the modern game has. But if we roll back a few years, that whole kind of being able to actually play the game is what draws me into the archetype, and specifically around Duel Links. Back when the Thunder Dragons were first getting released into the game was very much back row centric. Everything was like back row deck. It was like you just play any kind of front row, and then all the back rows are the same for like every deck. And then when Thunder Dragon dropped, it was like 0 back row. This deck is just all about hitting hard, destroy all the back row, destroy all the front row, and then go in for the kill. That's exactly what I had a lot of fun doing. Just smashing up people's boards. I wasn't all about slow play or sitting behind free set or anything like that. I was just all about play the cards, play the game, put out the state on the board, and see what your opponent does about it. So that's why I like it, man. It makes me play the game. I don't have to sit back and do nothing. I can actually do stuff with my cards.
Fair. All right. So let's talk about the recent Unlimited. So, what do you think about Thunder Dragons and Duel Links now that we've had Dragon Dark finally unlimited?
Yeah, long time coming, man. Finally, it's a very good unlimited that, and I think the deck is in a very good place. It's in a very good place ever since the deck first got completely obliterated with all the limits. It's finally now in a place where it's actually playable. It's good, it's probably not going to be tiered or high tiered. It's definitely not going to be high tiered right now because it's still got some of the issues that it's always had around consistency. The deck is playing a lot of high level cards. All the monsters are level 5 and higher, so you've got to be able to manage that. And with Duel Links having fewer cards in the opening draw, it has a bigger impact. But having said that, we like I say, we have a lot of options. We can play it in a lot of different ways. And so we have now the ability to actually mitigate some of those problems. So I'm hoping that over time, as more cards get released, we get more toolbox cards that we can use that will boost us up. But I think right now we're actually stronger than what we were when we were tiered before, and it's actually something one of the Discord members were highlighting as well, and I think they're spot on. Yeah, the deck is looking good now. I think people are a little bit sleeping on what it is, so people should look out for it because it's coming and it's gonna go hard.
Yeah, we just had a tournament in the server, and Thunder Dragons took first place. So
Yeah, 30 card build that one. A lot of hand traps, but yeah, if that's how it does it, then we good,
yeah,
we good. At least we ain't running the three IDPs, three compulse, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Warning point and all of that. Basically, the game is back into the state of what it was back then. It's either you play all of those limit three back rows, or you have to play all the cosmics and things to get rid of them. So Thunder Dragon's in a good place in that it's in the middle there. We don't really run back row removal. Levy is our back row removal, and so getting Levy back, well, now that Dark is off the limit, has completely opened up our plays because we can do so much more now.
all right, cool. So moving away from Duel Links for a second, um, do you think Thunder Dragons can work in the TCG without Colossus?
Without Colossus, well, I mean, they're not doing a lot right now, and we don't have Colossus right now in TCG as I understand it. So they can do things. I don't think they're going to do well, and I don't think you're going to be able to do competitive things with them. But I think you can have a lot of fun. I think it's one of them decks that people aren't going to be mad at you for playing it. I think people get mad if you play Colossus, but if you don't play Colossus, then I think it's a fun deck that you can play with any other rogue kind of players. I think if you try and take it to tournaments, you're probably going to get handed to you. But nonetheless, I think Titan's still a very fun boss. And I think just the way the deck plays in itself, it gives you so much toolbox options. You can play a lot of different engines with it. You can play different builds. There's a lot of different options for you to play Thunder Dragons. And then you can play as many or as little as you like. So I see a lot of decks that play really minimal Thunder Dragon engine, like in Dragon Link, for example. But that's only really a Master Duel, so it doesn't really apply to TCG. But it's doable. It's still fun, but I can't see it being competitive though. Even if Colossus did get dropped, even if Colossus was free in TCG, I still don't see it being tiered because the game's just moved on a lot since then.
All right, well that's my next question is, do you think that Colossus should be unbanned in the TCG?
Yeah, definitely, man. Unban that. I mean, people are going to hate that answer, right? And people aren't going to like it when Colossus gets dropped on them. But when you look at the speed of the game now, all Colossus is an equalizer, right? It just brings the quicker decks back down to the Thunder Dragon level. Obviously, the decks that aren't as good as Thunder Dragons are going to struggle to get up to Thunder Dragons level. But that's just the way the game moves forward, and the game has moved forward a long way since Colossus got banned. So yeah, man, bring it back. See what happens. I mean, we've got it in Master Duel, and the game isn't dying. It's not broken. It's not like Thunder Dragons have been tiered in that game for since it's been released. I think so. I think they can release that and it'll be fine. People aren't gonna like that. People aren't gonna like having that card dropped on them, but that's the same with every archetype. Any archetype that's tiered, nobody likes their main cards. You know what I'm saying? And to be fair, Colossus isn't even the boss of the deck. Titan's the one that really smashes things up. Colossus just lets us play. Colossus gives us an in to actually getting Titan out. So yeah, bring Colossus into TCG.
Well, Colossus is really free though. All you have to do is tribute a Thunder monster after you've activated an effect. So,
Yeah, you know what? All they had to do was make it so that it only works when you activate Thunder Dragon monsters effects in
yeah,
your
the
hand.
Nemesis card is ruining it.
Yeah, it's Nemesis, man. All they need to do is ban Nemesis, because it making it so it's generic for any Thunder effect in hand is what enables Nemesis plays. And I mean, to be fair, you can also tribute any Thunder on the field, which they could also limit to being only a Thunder Dragon that you have to tribute, but that also reduces its utility a lot. So I would prefer it if they step one would make it so that it has to be a Thunder Dragon effect in hand that needs to be activated to meet the condition, But they could even limit it even further by just making it a Thunder Dragon that has to be tributed off the field, and that would fix a lot of problems. But yeah, I agree that there is a problem in Nemesis out there.
All right. So my next question is for Master Duel. So, do you think that Chaos, the Dark Lights, Banish, Graveyard synergy, do you think that's better in D Link or do you think it's better in Thunder Dragons?
Thunder Dragons, man,
Hmm.
Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons love being banished. It's all about getting those cards banished and recycled, and the the Chaos engine is perfect. It's perfect for us. It works so well. And along with the new Bristol cards as well, it just seems like they were all made for each other. You bring them all into a deck and they all do similar things to each other that are necessary for the other parts to work. So we got that branded spell that will recycle anything that's banished and let us draw, which
Ah,
lets us
yeah.
roll the deck over. Naturally, you got the white and black dragon brothers that banished the single light and dark,
Mm.
which again, with chaos space in the mix, lets us run through the deck by recycling the dragon that gets banished and then drawing. And it goes back to that thing I was saying around the deck is inherently quite bricky because we play a lot of high level monsters and we play a lot of monsters that can't even be normal summoned. Like all the chaos monsters, they need to activate their special summoning conditions to even get on the board. So, we need to be able to cycle through the deck to be able to get the right cards in hand to be able to actually play the game. And all of those cards combined together so much better than I think than Dragon Link. But having said that, I do play Dragon Link with Thunder Dragons, but it's the perspective you take onto it. So the way I see it is you can play Thunder Dragons as your main deck, your main engine that's running the deck, and you will play starters that kick off your Thunder Dragons like Aloof and Batteryman and things like that. Or you can play Thunder Dragons as your secondary engine in a deck like Dragon Link. And there, what you're expecting is your Dragon Link monsters to do a lot of the work, and you're expecting to drop something like Chaos Ruler to do a lot of milling for you. And then you're expecting your Thunder Dragons to get milled into the graveyard. And then you should have ways to banish those Thunder Dragons, the same way using the White or Black Dragon Brothers. Maybe you even got one of those, what are they called? Snow? I forget the names of these cards, right?
Fairy Tale Snow,
The
yeah.
one that Fairy Tale Snow, that's it. So they play that card, which is also amazing for Thunder Dragons. It's all about banishing the Thunder Dragons out of the graveyard, so we can start popping off those effects. But again, if you play them as a secondary engine, then the chances are you're only playing them for Colossus. But the way I play it, I play it for Titan. Titan's my boss. Um, and so yeah, Colossus is like your starting boss, your second in command. But once Titan
Oh,
drops on the field, that's when people really start, quitting. That's when they really hit the surrender button. Is once Titan starts popping their field off.
all right, hold on, hold on,
Um,
hold on. So you're you're giving kind of a conflicting message here. So you say that Titan is your boss monster, and you say that you want to banish Thunder Dragons from your graveyard, but doesn't Titan require you to keep Thunder Dragons in the graveyard so that you can banish them to like protect it?
so Colossus needs to banish Thunders from the graveyard to survive from either effect destruction or battle destruction. But Titan can just banish any card out of your graveyard. It
Wait,
doesn't even need
any
to be a light
card?
or a dark. Any
What?
card. He can even banish your spells and your traps if you need to.
That's
So
insane. Okay.
Titan is insane, yeah, but he can be beaten over by battle damage. So he can be beaten over by battle. So yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off. But having said that, Titan is the thing that's destroying the opponent's field. Colossus on his own, yeah, he's going to stop you from searching, but a lot of decks can play around that still. They can still put out a semi-decent board around all of that. But Titan, when he comes on the board, he's destroying all your back row, and he's destroying anything that you can't negate with. And then if you do, even if you do negate it, it's not even once per chain. So you can even get around things that might even negate it. So it's just a beast. Titan's a beast, and it's a shame that it's not more prominent in the game, but it's probably a good thing as well.
All right. Okay, well, cool. So is there anything else that you want everyone to know about you?
Anything to know about me? No, there's nothing to know about me, man. You just need to hit up the server, come play in our tournaments, and you get to know me when you play against me in the deck.
Fantastic. All right. Well, do you want to shout out any of the other gurus?
Not in particular any one guru, man. I shout out all the gurus because I know all of you guys are putting in the work in different spheres. A lot of the guys do lots of different things, yourself included, and it's all a group effort. There's not really one target to be doing one thing. It's not about getting everybody to do one thing. It's about everybody focusing on their strengths and doing what they want to be doing. You got all your channels that you want to be focusing on. And it's just about each of us supporting each other to, grow in whatever sphere we want to be doing. So shout out to all the gurus for doing that. And just lifting each other up, but also having massive bants in the background too. But the members, man, without the members, I mean, at the end of the day, we all start as members. We're not anything other than members of the community. That's where we all come in from. So shout out the community from the start because, you be a part of it, get involved, have some fun, get to know some people. And then, if you like it, you can up the amount that you give back to the community rather than just clapping fools. You can take part and get involved and do some more. So big up to everybody, man. That's part of this.
Fantastic. All right. Well, everyone, this is the man. He's on the Chaos Thunder Theory channel. The link is in the description. Join the guild and you can talk to him. This is Serafi. I was thrilled to have you all with me.